your tea.
But hello, we are Tea Time with Key. Well, I'm Tea Time with Key, and I have a guest, Mr. What do you want me to call you? I don't know if you want
Kris.
Kris. Okay,
Yeah.
Kris, out right here, and he is presenting his group called
The Breadwinners.
the Breadwinners. I love bread, and I love to win some too.
Yeah.
Get in that bag.
Okay, so yeah, I'm originally from Raleigh, North Carolina. Grew up here, 18 years, went to school here. Started playing basketball around the age of 4, so that was kind of like my first love.
Okay.
Loving the hoop, yeah.
Okay.
So played in high school, played AAU, things like that. Got a half athletic, half academic scholarship to go play basketball at St. Andrews University. So my school was pretty much paid for. Went there, went there, played for a year. Kind of like a smaller school, and then not really the experience I was looking for. So that's how I transferred to UNC Charlotte. I never toured there actually before I went there, so I kind of just went out on the whim.
Friends from UNC Charlotte.
Yeah, good people. They
Good
good
people.
people. So yeah, I love that school. So I ended up transferring there. I was always good at math because my parents were math majors, so that's why I took an interest in math. But math by itself was kind of boring, so I had to switch that major. Switched it to finance, and that's kind of ended up in that realm. Kind of like it kind of gave me a chance to use my mathematical ability, but also like be able to learn about the American obsession with the dollar, because it's such a capitalistic society that I really wanted to get to the bottom of that and understand why and understand how I could help that.
So when you say like your mathematic ability, are you like a mathematician, a genius?
I don't know. It's just like kind of numbers come easy to me. Like
easy.
I feel like most people don't like math, but it's not.
No,
really
I know I'm
anything
one
to
of
me.
them. Geometry
Yeah.
was my favorite
Yeah.
because it's
With the
visual.
shapes.
It's visual. Like I'll do degrees, I'll
Yeah.
even do exponents and different things, because it's visual. I can see
Yeah.
this. But yeah. So I mean, what is like something definite with numbers that that you may know that nobody else may possibly know, or only a few math people might know? Something very interesting.
Something very interesting about
Yeah, because I know something very interesting. Well, not me, but I know somebody who knows something very interesting. I just want to see what you're gonna say.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think numbers are super interesting. I'm just good with them. Like when people throw them at me, like I can throw them back. Like I can throw them answers back real fast. I don't really have to think about it. It kind of just comes to my head. So, like I said, honestly, the math wasn't really the interesting part.
Yeah, it was the finance.
Well, I'm interested to see what
the
facts
fact that I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so my little sister, one of my little sisters, she is 13, but she did this months ago when she was 12. I don't know which number she's at now as far as the digits, but as far as the number pi, she's up to, well, at that time, she was up to memorizing the 54th digit of pi after 3.14. Just something her and her friend wanted to do.
Yeah.
But she's very good in math and as well as music. She plays a lot of instruments. So yeah, that when she told me that blew my mind.
Yeah.
I said, who knew?
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't got, you got some time on hands.
We got some time. So I did know that you love math and that you were able to bring it into finances with your life. Exactly, what is it that you would say that really made you want to start your group, Breadwinners? Like, what drives you concerning that?
What drives me? Well, my homie was really the one who first originally came up with the idea. He called me, and then we kind of like talked about it, talked it out, because I was in business organizations, but we realized that none of the business organizations actually taught financial literacy. They taught more professional development and what to do with your resume and what to do in interviews and things like that, which is important, but it's also not something that everybody's gonna run into. Finance is something everybody's gonna run into. So my kind of passions behind that is because I realized that I grew up in like a fortunate home. Like honestly, like I didn't really need anything because my parents were sacrificing a lot for us, so they were making sure we had everything I had, everything I needed and things like that. But we weren't in the best situation either. Like we still, like I can still see my parents making sacrifices so that we had it, you know what I mean? So, but also seeing that, I saw that like the greater need for people that weren't as fortunate as me and things like that, and really understanding the finances. It's not that we don't make money, it's kind of what we do with our money. So really, if you can educate people on what to do with their money and where to put it, it can make so much of a big difference in the long run, and we can really reach freedom. So that's why our mantra is stacking the freedom together. So that's really what we want to do, is really kind of like put people on that information and make them realize that freedom is not far off. It's just more it's more in the management of it and the more the mindset of things that you're doing.
Definitely. Jay-Z said financial freedom is the only
hope.
hope.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is. I'm so ready to be out of debt.
Exactly.
Because school debt is real.
It is.
And like you said, financial literacy. Because I know a lot of people, I think just across the board, they're not really taught exactly how to handle and deal with money.
Exactly.
Even in school, like you said, you were able to bring math to finances. That's what they should have been teaching us in school. Just teaching us, okay, we're just doing numbers, trigonometry, geometry, algebra. Okay,
exactly.
let me learn how to,
how
make these numbers work to apply to
Yeah.
actual life, with actual finances.
Exactly.
Because I think they should have had in some type of math class showing us exactly how to do taxes, writing checks, which I do remember some class they did have us to write a check, like practice on, but we didn't practice on it for so long.
Exactly.
As well as I think that especially for seniors in high school, they should have some type of course that even if they go to it twice out of the week to help them learn how to do their FAFSA.
Exactly.
Because it's plenty of people I know. I'm one of them now. I done got through 8 years of school. I don't know how to do the FAFSA.
Yeah.
Thank God for my mother.
Exactly. Shout out to the
because it's amazing. And a lot of my friends, they called me through the years. Well, what is it that I do? And I'm like, girl, I'm gonna give you my mama's number or email her. She'll talk you through it or however y'all want to do it. But I cannot do it.
Yeah.
And those types of things would definitely be very helpful in schools or communities. However, what do you think about Black people and the Black dollar?
The Black dollar it's really slept on how powerful it is because we actually possess $1.2 trillion as a Black community in spending power each year. And so that's a lot of money, an extreme lot of money. But however, the Black dollar only rotates in our community about less than 6 hours compared to the 15 plus days it rotates in the white and the Asian communities and things like that. So it really we're getting it, but we're spending it directly right back out to other sources that aren't really helping our own community. So that's why we kind of need to start developing our own businesses and putting those money into those businesses. Sometimes I know a lot of people go to barbershops for the low cut, but sometimes you might need to go to that Black barbershop and just put it back into the community because it'll come back. I know the CEO of No Grease actually is a Black-owned barbershop in Charlotte, North Carolina. So before we even got chartered for our nonprofit, we're still in the process of doing that. He came and actually just threw us $100 just towards our initiative for what we were doing in Breadwinners because he really appreciated it because he kind of understands that that really the importance of putting it back into your own community like that. Out of 2,000 billionaires in the world, there's only 11 Black billionaires.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
interesting.
Really
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
That's really it's not a big percentage at all.
Yeah, that's not big at all.
Yeah, 1 in 50 white families have 1 in 50 Black families are millionaire families compared to the 1 in 7 white families.
Sheesh, that's a horrible ratio.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
My mind is blown off of that alone. I'm just sitting here pondering.
You gotta take a time and look at the numbers sometimes.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, because even down to going to college itself, I saw a lot of my white counterparts when I was at NC State. They would be in a house per se over a dorm, and they had 4 or 5 of their friends. And actually the house was in one of their parents' names, so they're actually putting this money, they're staying there the whole time they're in school. And one of them ends up owning the house, or possibly they could all share ownership and then rent it out to other people or resell it however you want to do. And it's we don't do things like that. I know I haven't heard of anybody doing. I did just see something a post like that on Facebook yesterday, but I know I don't know anybody personally. It shows how rare it is.
Because they felt the need to spotlight.
Yeah, you're right. And I don't know exactly where is it that you feel that we could start with as a business to start, for somebody. What would you say a small business to start? Because you don't have to go to school to own a business. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that blocks a lot of people as well, is thinking that they have to go to school. You do have to sit down and learn different things, yes, but you don't actually have to go to school to own a business. So what type of business or businesses would you suggest, or that you would possibly open up first, as to say, I want to open up and start a business to start a legacy for my family?
Okay. Well, really, I think it starts behind, a lot of the times it starts behind some of the passions that you have. there's a lot of artists people out here. There's a lot of people who paint, a lot of people who make clothes. Like you can like people who make clothes and people who can design clothes. There's online shops where you can go have your own T-shirt designs. Like you can go up there. They cost you T-shirt might cost you $8, and then the shipping might cost you $3, and they'll take care of the design and the shipping for you. And all you got to do is price your T-shirt to whatever you want it to be. So you can if it only costs $11 to make, you price your T-shirt at $20, and you're making $9 off every shirt you sell and things like that. So people really kind of need to start taking care of taking advantage of their creativity
too as well. I'm in the process.
Taking advantage of those creativities and things like that. So I know my passion is finance. So as I really want to grow and build my knowledge and things like that, I want to be able to take it into the community and maybe not charge too much, of course, but maybe charge like $10 to $15 for like an hour of helping somebody really develop their financial plan and developing their FNA, their financial needs analysis and things like that. Because this service, people are offering, people have services because people are talented, people are knowledgeable about different things. So being able to offer those different services, people will pay for your service as long as you know what you're talking about and what you're doing.
You're right about it. Because this is one thing that I have been asked several times throughout the years from people. How do you save money?
How do you save money?
How do you save money? Like,
number one rule to saving money is to spend less than you earn. And I don't think everybody understands that rule.
That's true.
It's very simple. A very, very simple rule that most people don't understand. So spend less than you earn. A lot of people, honestly, I think about half of Americans say they're living paycheck to paycheck. I believe in the nation. That's just like a wild number because it doesn't really make sense because you get paid, most people get paid weekly or bi-weekly or something, or things like that. So your main things are probably your rent and your car payment and utilities, things like that. Things you know you have to pay every month. So you should already have those budgeted. You should already have those budgeted out. Those things do start with a budget as well. That's one of our cornerstones for our financial literacy organization.
Right.
Budgeting. So starting with the budget. Really analyze your expenses. So when you know your expenses, then you know exactly what you need to be spending each month, and then you know exactly how much you have left over. And you need to be paying yourself each month as well. So that's another way to save money.
It is, and one of my older cousins, she told me that. Thank you, cousin Florine. Yes. But so you said budget as well as spend less than what you make.
Spend less than what you make, and pay yourself each month.
Pay yourself. And then I started doing that too with my savings account. It's not so good, I mean, I'm gonna get back to paying it, because I had to pay myself right back. But I think that's another thing for it too. It's like emergency funds. Granted that I get it to get taken out of each check, but I also, if I need to go get it, it's there. I saved it. Oh man, I hate when I do that. Trading and shares, stocks and bonds. Do you own it? Do you
I do own a few stocks.
Okay.
Just a few stocks.
A few stocks. Okay, so I just purchased a first share, some time ago, and I'm trying to really feel everything out. Mm-hmm. And exactly how is it that the share process works?
When you purchase a share, you can either purchase a whole share. Now they have these apps that are actually brokers and things like that. So you can start by purchasing $5, $10 of a stock, things like that. But really you want to just do your research on whatever you're going to be putting your money in. I always suggest putting money into something that you actually like, something that you might actually use, maybe whether it may be like a makeup company that you like, or maybe it's like a clothing company that you like, something that you're actually interested in, so you want to keep up with it. You can keep up with their trends, you can kind of keep up with the way that industry is going, kind of invest in things you're actually interested in.
That's true.
And make sure you're doing those research, make sure you're reading articles, read Forbes, CBS, legitimate articles that can actually inform you on how that industry is going and how that company that you're investing in is going. But a lot of times it's better, honestly, rather than to invest in like one or like a single stock, because it's so volatile, especially with the economy today, it's honestly better to invest in like a mutual fund, something that's actually diversified, so that not
so
having
tell
all your
people
eggs
exactly what is a mutual fund.
A mutual fund is basically like a diversified account which has like different stocks and bonds within it. and that so that it's basically not having all of your eggs in one basket, because if you put all of your eggs in one basket, then as soon as that stock could be doing great, but as soon as it drops back down, your whole account is messed up.
So basically, you saying that once you get a share, you need to open up a mutual fund account afterwards.
A mutual fund.
Fund.
Really talking to a fund. When you open up a mutual fund, you really want to talk to either a financial advisor or registered representative, so they can really point you in the direction of which mutual fund is doing best, because you want to. It's so many different ones, because they come in these different packages that hold so many different stocks and bonds and things like that going on. So you want to kind of get knowledgeable on which one, somewhere you can put your money. And that's more for investing long term, which you should be investing, because it's a difference between investing and trading, where you're kind of looking for those short term gains in like a couple of weeks or things like that, and then move it to another account. That's more of trading rather than investing.
Right.
Investing is more of going in something with the long term aspect.
Okay. Yeah, because see, that's where I got confused.
Yeah.
You know, when it had told me I was able to now trade, I'm like, okay, now what am I trading?
Yeah,
am I doing it for the same value, less, more? Or do I need to trade at all? Was where I was. But okay, I've been getting, notes from every which way from different people, trying to figure everything out, as well as an IRA account, and for those of you who don't know what that is an individual retirement account. Okay. Yes. And some people like to call it an IRA. Yeah. Yes, that's what I've heard a few of the old folks say. Yes. But money is very versatile, and we do need to know exactly how to work things out, what we need to do, on how to save it, even with down to loans.
Yeah.
Like, because I see people, that happens a lot. People will get, these cars thinking that, oh, I got this, but you have it at so much of a high interest rate, and you're paying a mortgage plus a car payment on just the car, And what is it that you would give someone far as advice concerning something like that? Because I always say just that with putting down money on a car, or either like far as when it comes to financing a car, or would you need to refinance, or things like that. When would a time come when it's like you should, or you just don't do that, or maybe
really. You want to pay off your debts as fast as possible, honestly, just first and foremost, because the longer you wait, of course, those interest rates are going to get to you and things like that, and you're really going to end up paying. People end up paying $17,000, $18,000 on a car that's only worth $10,000 and things like that, because the interest payments, and the longer you wait off, it's just going to add up. So those things that you want to do, that you're buying and you're trying to finance and things like that, you want to stay. The goal is to stay out of debt at the beginning of it. So the goal is to stay out of debt. So things like that, and really holding off on those payments if you don't have to. Like a lot of people, when they get enough money for a new car, they want to get a new car right then, but really you're just jumping into more debt by getting a brand new car, because that's more of like really you're just doing that for the looks. You're doing that. There's nothing really wrong with that car, and most of the time it's running just like the next car is gonna run. So really, you might as well hold on to that money and use it to pay yourself, like we was talking about earlier. Put that money somewhere, or put that money aside somewhere where it's gonna start making money for you, where it's gonna make life easier in the long run, and that's really one of our M's. My mindset is kind of like really shifting that mindset of millennials, and we're trying to change the meaning of money for millennials. So it really putting that into more of a long-term mindset rather than a short-term mindset, because really when you start thinking like that starts making life a lot easier. And some of these short-term things and bring in delayed gratification rather than looking like you got money today, rather than having money actually later. That's what it's more about.
Yes, because I don't want to have to work all of my
life.
Nobody I'm not even gonna tell y'all my actual retirement age that I really want to be like, oh no, I don't have to do anything. Just keep making money through different avenues. That's the smartest thing to do right now. And so, what is one or a couple of ways that you yourself are saving money, either from a day-to-day, month-to-month, or a yearly basis, or either as far as through the stocks and bonds or anything like that?
What's one way that I'm saving money?
A couple of ways, anything that you would say.
Really just exploring different options of making money. Like I've invested a little money into, when I see investments, I invest a little bit of money into them. I invested a little bit of money into crypto. I invested a little bit of money into a few different stocks. I'm currently working on setting up my own Roth IRA, which is a tax-free investment account, things like that. Really, really kind of finding ways to take those extra dollars that I would be spending on God knows what, really, honestly,
Right.
and just putting them in places where it's just gonna make money for me later, and taking kind of like I was talking about the delayed gratification, taking a spending cut and putting it away somewhere I can't touch it, because my dad always says, his grandma used to say, if you put money in your pocket, it's gonna find a way out. It don't need to do it. It's gonna find a way out for you.
Find a way to keep walking.
Go ahead and put that money away somewhere.
You're right.
And let it make money. And people need to honestly stop being slaves to money and start letting money be slaves to them and letting the money work for them.
And explain that comment.
Yeah, really like people spend so much of their life. So many people are working past the age of 65 nowadays just because they past the retirement age. So because I mean, Social Security is not really.
Yeah, because I think it's just going to be non-existent.
Exactly. At some point, by some point, it's going to be. So you really got to start thinking for yourself. So really, rather than always working for money every single day, you got to start learning how to make money work for yourself, and really having somewhere where money is making money in your sleep. So that's really more about it, like what I was saying. What was it? What I say? So
making money in your sleep.
Yeah, making money. Making money a slave to yourself.
That part. I'm sorry. Not to make Not to make yourself a slave to the money, or money a slave to you. Yeah, I got you. That's good. That's good mentality as well. And I think that we definitely do that as human beings, and definitely in the Black community as well, with image. And I think social media has definitely been a part of it, but even before then, before social media, we were doing it on a different scale of, I got this, and you don't. And so then somebody else, they got to feel like, shoot, I got to go get this too. And, and even down to the cars, because I know, like, with males, that's usually a bigger area for y'all. Like, I'm not gonna say for y'all, but some males. Let me say that some males. I hate to try to do that. Let me say that some males, they tend to feel as though that they need this type of car, either where it's to impress a female or to just impress another male, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna go into that. But yeah, just little things like that. And even with females, sometimes down to the image of things. Because I saw this one meme the other day. It was like, are men supposed to be responsible for women and what their image is, on how they want to change it so much? And I was like, no. And I was looking at some of the comments. I didn't actually comment myself. Yeah. But some people were like, yes, they are. And I could possibly see it to an extent. Yeah. However, it would be some females, because I know some females, they do it for themselves. Some females, they do it because they would rather, they're trying to an image that they want to do with whatever to make money, or just to look good. And then some, they might do it for the image of a man. I say do whatever makes you happy. Me myself, I'm fine. I just want laser hair removal and LASIK eye surgery. I just don't want to have to wear no glasses. And I think that's it. I'll be fine. So but it's like it's always image with a lot of people, whether it be clothes, shoes, houses, and it's all about really being happy within. Like, long as live for yourself and actually make something worthwhile. Don't keep putting money into material things that aren't actually, what's the word I want to use? I just had it in my head.
Put money into material things that.
Yeah, it was another word I wanted to use and I messed up.
Are fulfilling or fulfilling?
It's almost like, it's close enough. We're going to go with that. That'll work. But, stuff that isn't fulfilling, let alone that doesn't have any value. Okay, yeah. So it's not bringing anything, is being a liability.
Exactly. I was just thinking that. Assets versus liabilities.
It's assets versus liability.
That's a big thing that people don't really understand and see the difference of, rather than that's another reason why you don't necessarily need that new car, because you can be putting that money into assets.
Right.
Maybe honestly some real estate. If you got $10,000, sometimes you might want to look at some real estate, maybe some property that's gonna actually make you money and things like that, rather than nothing. Because it's asset versus liability. An asset is something that's gonna help you make money. A liability is gonna appreciate in value. A liability is something that's gonna depreciate in value.
Yes.
Honestly, so technically a car is a liability, because as soon as you drive it off the lot, the car loses a little bit of value.
Yeah, it does.
So
Each year.
So really understanding, when you understand that difference between the two, then that really starts making a huge difference as well.
Right. And what other assets do you think that people should look into as far as to add to
Different
their life?
vehicles of like investment vehicles, real estate,
You all right? You all
yeah,
right?
different or these retirement accounts, these ETFs, mutual funds, stocks, bonds. I already
What is
said
an
real-
ETF?
exchange traded fund actually.
Okay.
So mutual funds, these different properties. There's honestly all types of investments that you can look into nowadays. Foreign currency exchange.
Foreign currency exchange. So how does that work? What's that?
That's honest. That's a little bit deeper. So it's like, especially trading the U.S. dollar versus like other Australian dollar. You can trade it towards the euro. You can trade it towards the Great Britain pound and things like that.
Okay.
And you actually they actually have they trade $5.3 million on that market each day. But it's unregulated because it's not regulated by the U.S. The U.S. can't regulate it because it's literally the world's exchange, and it actually comes back from like the bartering system back in the day, where they used to trade services for different services and things like that.
So basically, what you're saying is, I can get how much ever amount of U.S. money and trade it to Australian money, euros, whatever.
Well, you basically trading how these two different currencies are valued.
Okay.
So you it's almost like technical analysis, is looking at the charts, which is a lot of what day traders do with stocks and things like that. Just looking at the charts and looking at whether the chart, whether the is about to gain or lose value based on it. So you can set a stop loss and set whether it's, so you don't, that stop loss, you set a stop loss so you don't want to lose an amount of money. So if it goes down to this certain point, you want to go ahead and pull out. Or you can set it up, or you can set a stop limit where when it goes up to that amount, you basically take your profits from what you're. It's almost like predicting where the chart is going.
Okay.
Honestly, and like I said, it's like that's probably definitely the most lucrative market to be in. But you have to do a lot of research to be in there. Got to do a lot of studying what the foreign currency like history is and things like that. Like I was talking about that bartering system, because it really originated from the service to service. So people were trading, basically, maybe a carpenter might trade his service of doing your cabinets and things like that. You might trade a sheep or things like that, like back in the day. So and then went into the gold system. They started using the gold standard, and gold was backing up a certain amount of money from each country and things like that. So it's basically, and now foreign currency exchange is actually just trading the different currencies.
Yeah, because I had just saw this clip the other week where it was talking about with the gold trading system and how the U.S. used to do with it. And basically, I don't think they're doing it anymore.
No, they had to stop because people started writing like IOU notes and things like that, and people started taking advantage of other people. People were basically saying they had more money than they actually had gold, and they started to take advantage of other people. So, and then at the time, the U.S. had the most gold, so that's how the U.S. actually became the certain standard for most money for the economy.
And we're still in debt to some of them people.
Things like those IOU notes and things like that. So problems date to a long time ago, but that's why you really got to start educating yourself on the history, and start educating yourself on today's society, how finances play such a huge role in it. Because like we were saying, like financial today, it sucks, but in today's society, to truly be free, you have to be financially free. So.
You do, and even just really being your own boss some type of way, because I know I can't stand to work for the man. I cannot stand to work for the man. You know, it works my nerves. But entrepreneurship, it is definitely one of the best ways of life.
Yep.
Especially if you go ahead and find that out early in your life, you need to go ahead and start planning. You know, I wish that I would have paid attention to myself a little bit more, because I would have done a little bit of things different.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really paying attention to that little toot or however I was growing up, knowing that, you know, no girl, you. Not that I was a bad child, but a lot of the time I just didn't listen. I did things my own way. Still now to this day, half the time I do things my own way. Yeah. Or, you know, I'm not easily moved. You gotta really influence me and persuade me to really get me to be like, okay, that is, you know, that's right. I'll do that. But I have a lot of people who have been able to, you know, who give me good sounding advice. I'll say that. Is there anything else that you like to discuss as far as concerning money, or any tips or anything down with taxes, IRS, anything?
Really just kind of our 5 cornerstones are budgeting, credit, taxes, investing, and generational wealth. So of course, budgeting your money. You kind of want to know how much money you want to know exactly how much money you have. You want to know where that money is going at all times. You want to know, we want to understand like your budget for the week, what budget for the month, and things like that, so you can actually start being on top of that and being aware of that, so you know exactly how much money is coming in. You want to know your income and how much money is going out. And then credit is basically how you buy things on with your borrowing reputation. So sometimes you don't have the money to buy like maybe a house or things like that, so they look at your credit report and see like, have you been making your payments on time? And so many people are in credit card debt around the country because they just don't understand.
Thank God I don't have a credit card yet. You know, I just ain't got the time.
Exactly.
I'll just keep paying these bills however I'm paying them, but that credit card is gonna have to wait, because it's a setup. My mom did tell me that years ago, and I'm just so glad.
Exactly.
Because I know had I had one, I'm not gonna say I would have just went wild, but I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah,
you know, I would have been like, yes, put it on credit. I would put it on credit. I don't want to use my money.
Exactly. So people just don't understand. Like they think it's money you don't have.
Right.
Because people don't understand that eventually they're gonna have to pay it back.
You gotta pay it back.
So that's how people start getting these interest rates and start getting behind on their payments, and it just takes advantage of them. So educating people on how that works and how it actually how it plays a role and why it plays a role is huge, because it's going to play a role. And sometimes some employers look at your credit report and see whether you're things like that, because it's almost basically a source of responsibility, honestly. Yeah, some employers actually look at that. And when you're getting married and things like that, they look at you and your spouse's. When you're going for a house, they look at you and your spouse's credit report. So you just need to know things like that. So they say when you marry somebody, you marry their credit too.
You do.
So.
Well, husband in the future, just know I just got this school debt. That's all I got. But everything else is good. I have a good credit score to my liking until whenever they start kicking these payments in. But okay.
So credit, budgeting, credit, taxes is our next cornerstone. Understand how you get taxed is really like, people are very asleep on that, because understand how you get taxed is basically understand how much money you can get back at the end of the year.
Right.
Because there's tax write-offs, there's tax deduction, things like that. That's another benefit of owning your own business. If you own your own business.
Do you do taxes?
I don't do taxes. I'm actually in the process of trying to learn how to do taxes.
Go ahead. Yes, learn. That's great. That's wonderful. That's great.
Learning people. So that's, like I said, that's a benefit of having a business, because when you start having a business, now every mile you drive, you can, as long as you mention your business, those are kind of like the keys. It's in some little secrets. Every mile you drive, as long as you mention your business, now that's a business trip. Yeah. So you actually get 54.5% back for every mile driven towards your tax deductibles.
Yeah, I'm about to do mine, because I have to do my quarterly taxes.
Exactly.
Too.
So when you own your own business like that, or when you charter your own business, that's an advantage of having your own business. You get to get more money back at the end of the year, because you can write that off. So say you drove 10,000 miles, 5,450 of that you can write off on your taxes.
Oh yeah, I got to go ahead and call my tax man home girl. She got to do this. Okay.
So understanding that's understanding how much money you really you're owed back. Investing. So investing is the other cornerstone. We already talked a lot about that. Really just allowing your money to work for itself, allowing it to make money. being knowledgeable about what you're doing, whether if you need to talk to somebody who is more knowledgeable in that field, and things like that. Being diversified, not having all of your eggs in one basket, things like that. Before you really start investing, you really need to kind of start getting that, and make sure you have an emergency account with enough funds in there before you really.
We definitely had to. Well, not we, but because I wasn't one of the ones who had to evacuate. But I know a lot of people had to deal with that, with having to evacuate for the hurricane, having to have emergency funds. And it's like you need it for instances like that, or even if you just have to go out of town for a death in the family or someone's sick, you know, and it's not going to hurt you if you miss the next week of work, or maybe two, or maybe even a month at a time, because you just never things happen in life,
especially in corporate world.
It does. You know, anything can happen, and like even with maternity leave, you know, so it's a lot of different things with that, and I definitely do appreciate you and your time coming to Tea Time with Key and talking about money, just throw it in the bag, And anything else that you would like to share or tell the people to look out for you and Breadwinners? You want to show on the back of your shirt?
Oh yeah, straight bread.
Okay, I don't know, they might not be able to see it, but straight bread is say okay.
It's our logo. It started on originally started on UNC Charlotte's campus in January 2018 actually. And really trying to make this information something, because it's information that everybody should know, that's not taught in school, it's really not talked about in our homes, but it's still out there, and it's honestly all of it is free information. Like it's just we're just not getting access to it. So we're trying to make that information accessible and easy, so easy to understand that it actually becomes almost embedded in our culture. And that really it can kind of change the way our system is really working, and help us work against the system actually, and stop being taken advantage of by these credit card companies, these banks and things like that, and really start becoming knowledgeable. You can really be your own financial advisor. You don't need to have a financial advisor at times. I have aspirations of being a financial advisor, but I would much rather teach people how to be their own. So honestly,
that's good. That's wonderful.
I'd rather it's better to give someone a fishing pole and teach them how to fish rather than
you took it out my head. You better go ahead. That's the truth.
Yes.
Okay. And I thank you again, Kris, for coming. You can come again anytime. We can have tea if you like. We didn't have any today, but definitely we can. And I wish you many blessings on your business. And I can't wait. Thank you. And I can't wait to further our own business propositions within the venture that's coming up. Because we have a few things coming up that y'all don't know about, but be on the lookout. We are business partners, and we are on the rise. So it is very prominent, fulfilling, and we are doing this for the millennials, for anybody, honestly, even
changing
the old
the meaning
people.
of money for millennials.
Yes. So y'all enjoy. Start saving money, start reading up on those different accounts, 401k plans, because I need to figure that out too myself. But we're going to go into a lot of different things, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks.